here. What are these three languages? All of them was born from Creole. Now, who are these three languages? It's simple. That's why they call it with the three. It's either Spanish, it's either English, or it's either French. This is what the patois mean. So when you said you speak patois, that means within those three languages, you will be able to use one. Let me say it one more time. Patois mean within those three languages of trade, you will use one. Okay? So this is what it is. This is what they're not telling people. They want to hide this from us, and this is why you go all over, you will find people speaking Creole, okay? You go to the Amazon, this dude is speaking Creole in a deep forest of one of the oldest tribes in the Amazon of Brazil. They are speaking Creole. Now you ask yourself, how the hell they hide this shit from us? Because they don't want you to know the legacy of the empire. So you really think that Haiti was an empire and an empire not gonna have his influence everywhere? Make it make sense. This is what they're not telling you. This is the deepest part of Brazil. They are speaking Creole just like listen, clear as day. Okay? Because this was the language of the continent. We all were speaking Creole before we developed what we call the patois. Okay? Within those three trading languages, that's when now we were using them for what they call what? Trade. That's when the trading system start, and that's why we was using those other language to deal with those outsiders that got here from a long period of exile. Then they developed their own dialect down there. So when they come here, since they were the one who wanted things from us, we were the one trading with them. And guess what? Generation later, we have to develop a language where we both can understand, and that's why we developed those language you call English, what you call Spanish, and what you call French of today. All of them was what we call trading language. But the core, the base, the original language of the continent is the Creole. Pretty much mean the creation of all of them. Okay? That is the creator language. That's what gave birth to them. Okay? So make no mistakes. We got this cleared out. So, fast forward. I just explained the language part. Now, many wars start to go down. Territorial war. And the people that invade, after we send help, because we have a duty and a responsibility, okay? We have a duty and responsibility to help. And the help was simple, because our ancestor left behind, like, not only scrolls, we know the ancient history. We know the people that was in exile. We were the same people, and we send them in exile so they can learn, so they can grow back. But we never intended to make sure they stay in exile forever. We just want them to learn, because we've been going in and out over there and see their progress. But unfortunately, most of our ancestors see this as an act of war. They were usually genetically modified people, and they were, of course, breeding people to go to war with the Imperium. So many wars fought. So after many wars, a lot of our ancestors closed door on them. So time passed, and that's why I'm going to say this. I use the name Columbus, but his name was never Christopher Columbus. He have a name, and he's actually a Sephardi Jews, as they call it in the timeline. And he comes here, okay? He was the one that come. That's him right there. Some people are going to tell you that he never exists. That name was used differently, but as a character that come back here and do ask for help, yes, they actually do come here and ask for help. And this is why, because the area that you call Europe, now let me be clear about it again. What you call Europe, it is an island from America. What all the little pieces that you call Europe, these are shattered islands. These are islands, okay? Before they rechange the map and giving you the map in a different ways of seeing, these are islands. These are shattered pieces from an ancient war in an ancient time. When the sun collapsed, it created these little pieces of island. So these were extra island that belongs from here. Understand that? Okay? So these folks are exiled people from the ancient time, but they comes from here. Don't forget that. And now people know about that too. So when Columbus come here, he was asking for help. And when he asked for help, Columbus, once again, these were all, when they talk about Spain, Columbus do not belong in no goddamn Spanish Inquisition as they want to make it seem. Columbus was a part of the Ottoman Empire. He was a part of the same crew that was at war with the Imperium in the ancient time. He was the same people that was building folks from the ancient time, genetically modified people, and they are the same people in the ancient time that actually still there in a time period. And guess what? They were known as the Ottoman Empire. Okay? So now these are the people that got here, the Ottoman. Now, Columbus is actually one of these folks, okay? And they were the one they reclassify today. There's them. They reclassify these people today as Spanish. They were not Spanish. They were none other than the Ottoman Empire. These were the people we went to war with. After we went to Europe, we bring our help to Europe. We bring food. We bring vegetables. We bring architectures. We bring a bunch of our geniuses to help Europe. And guess what? We got backstabbed. And this was the Trojan horse. We always heard that how they sack Italy, the Roman, they just used the Trojan horse to just manipulate. They just sent them a gift as the Trojan horse, and it was a bunch of soldiers inside of them, and the Spartan invade and destroy. Now, remember, all of them is a story that they use from our ancient history that Hollywood fabricate some of them and to put themselves in the position of telling you that this really happens when in reality it ain't got nothing to do with them. The real Trojan horse was Columbus. I always use the term Columbus so you get to know what I'm talking about, but the name was never that, but that's a reference name, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I use that just so you know what I'm saying. So when he got there, he asked for the help, which he received the help. Okay, when he do receive the help, it was all part of the plan to sack the continent, to sack America, because they know we was heavily guarded. Okay, we were locked with so many of our stuff. We were heavily guarded and protected. So they understand the only way they can do that, they can actually invade us, is to use our own technology against us. And which that's what they did. So when this is one of the drawing, which is still like they trying to tell the story, like I said before, this is not exactly what it is, but I get it. It's a point of reference from the drawing. Okay, these are the people they told you that Columbus went to so-called Spain with. I understand this is all part of them trying to explain the story the way they want to give us the story, but I at least know what they trying to say in a way. So these were the indigenous people. These were the real Indians. When they talk about native, these were the indigenous people they show you that he went with in Europe. And as you see within their own drawing, they show you he bring what? He bring fruits, vegetables, animals, and including a lot of other stuff. Agricultures. We bring people to bring the irrigation systems. And guess what? This is when our ancestors went down there to Europe to help civilize Europe. Because every time you hear about, the Moors were the one that go out there and help Europe, because these were the Moors they were talking about. Okay? Not the M-O-O-R, the M-U-U-R. These were the Moors that went to Europe. Okay? So we just got to be clear about that so people don't get it confused. The Moors they talk about is not African people. The Moors they were talking about is people that from America that went down there and bring civilization to them. Okay? And they were the one that built all of these architectures that you find in Europe. They were the one that built them, because those style of architectures was only here in America. Let me say it again. Those style of architecture that you find in Europe, these were the style of architectures that was only here in America. Let me say this again. What you see in here is architectures in the ancient time here in America. So therefore, once again, these are architecture that exists here first, before we went over there, and we bring that knowledge to them. Okay? Don't believe the hype. Do not let these people manipulate the story and completely rewire it. See? These are ancient drawing here in America. That's why you find these are the palm trees. These are the things that you find all over Haiti, all over LA, all over California, and a lot of different places. These were the architectures that was here before we take it to Europe. Okay? These people are the one that bring this culture over there. All right? So I just want to make sure you understand where I'm going with this. So fast forward, these are the people that bring that knowledge to them. And this is why in Europe, they celebrate these indigenous ancestors in the ancient time of carnivals. They still do it in Europe, but they trying to crack down on these people. They trying to make it seem though this is a racist act. Oh, you cannot blackface. But in reality, this was not a blackface. They called it a tar face. They were honoring the Tar children. That's where you get the Tartaria, because they were the one that bring the Tartarian architecture to them all over Europe and certain region in Africa. So once again, this is the celebrations of them in Europe. These are whitey people celebrate these indigenous people over there in Europe as a form of honoring these ancestors that saved them, because Europe, not only Europe was dying off, they could not have baby past 5 years old. Starvation was, I mean, listen, it was a problem until these ancestors went down there and they bring civilization back to normal and heal the goddamn place. And this is in France. That's how they celebrate these indigenous ancestors. Still in France, they still doing it till today. So I just want to make sure to show you I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm showing you this is where this is where our ancestors went, and this is why they celebrate them till today in Europe. They still put in what we call the feathers, and they still put the tar. Right now, the Caribbean, you find this in Trinidad, you find it in so many carnival where in Haiti in the 1930s, you find they paint themselves with the tar to look peach black, because this is an indigenous practice. Okay, this is what they're not telling you, and this is where you get the truth. You get this knowledge here. And that's what we do. We want to make sure you know exactly what did happens in the past. So once again, folks, after our ancestors went down there to help, and guess what? This is where our ancestors end up being backstabbed. This is when now we lost our technology. Now, what was these technology? What they told you, La Nina, La Pinta, La Santa Maria, all three of these boats were not technology that Columbus and his so-called people come with. These were our fleet. These were our boating system. When Columbus and them fools got here, they come on a little flat raft, the little flat shit, okay? You see this boat? Let me say this. You see the boat that they paint? This boat was not their boat. These are our boat. These are our ancestor boat, because we've been sailing forever. Okay, they didn't have that technology. This is when Columbus is coming back with us. Okay, so I just want you to understand, these boat was the Imperium boat. This was when the Empire dispatched the help that they need in Europe. I mean, when they said the Empire, this was not only in Haiti. They're trying to make you think, oh yeah, it was just only in Haiti, or what you call some part of DR. No, they were sending ships from all over, because it was not, when they said Europe, it was not just the area today they call Spain. There was Italy. It was so many different parts of Europe our ancestors went. They were going to area you call Belgium. They went to Italy. They went to Corsican. They went to everywhere, because these boats was coming from different places. They were coming from New Orleans. They were coming from Louisiana. They was coming from Cuba. They was coming from Haiti. They was coming from Puerto Rico. They was coming from some area from what you call the DR area, some part. They was coming from the Bahamas. They was coming from Jamaica. The Imperium dispatched a help. So many ships went down there. Did you heard? This is what they're not telling you, because it's convenient. They cannot allow you to know the real world history of the past. So, as our ancestors went down there, this is when we got backstabbed, okay? These are the people that went to Europe, okay? This is in Europe. This statue is in Europe. Okay, there's a boatload of them also in Germany. There's a bunch of statues of our ancestors all over Germany, okay? Because we were in all of these areas. Matter of fact, there's a palace in Germany called Palais Sans Souci. The same one we have in Haiti